From Fox 8 Sports, this is the Overtime Podcast.
From the Fox 8 studios in New Orleans and from California, this is the Fox 8 Overtime Podcast. I'm Vasilios. That is Sean Fazan. Remember to like, subscribe, rate, and review. You can find us wherever you listen to and watch your podcast. And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit that little bell notification button. You get notified whenever we upload a new podcast. Sean Fazan is over there live in California covering the Saints. Sean, as a very loud car drives by, how goes it over there? How's the weather, my man?
Weather is fantastic. Sorry, we're in a little different spot than we originally planned. Wi-Fi issues, but we're getting the job done with this podcast here on this Thursday evening. It's about 7 o'clock here locally. It feels fantastic outside, and it really has been a good stretch here. Just the change of weather has been fantastic, and it actually right now, it's actually a little bit chilly right now out here we're right outside of the beach here. Newport Beach is where we're staying on an Airbnb. Saints are practicing about 20 minutes away from here in Costa Mesa. They've done it before against the Chargers. It's been a good start to the West Coast swing.
Now, that chilly weather, or the very nice weather rather, how did it affect practice today, as today was the first joint practice against the Chargers?
In the best possible way, in the absolutely best possible way. You come out here, you wake up, it's 68 degrees. You get to the facility, it's in the 70s. There's a slight breeze. There's not a cloud in the sky. The Saints took full advantage. They were able to go through 2 hours and 15 minutes of work. There just was no extended hydration breaks. There was no stoppage in play for guys that were cramping up or anything like that. They were able to get through 2 hours and 15 minutes, 5 different team periods that included a red zone and a 2-minute, one-on-ones and 7-on-7. So that's 7 different styles of periods that they were able to just go one by one by one by one, and it moved. It really just moved because there was no stoppage, because the weather was perfect. And it was funny because Cam Jordan said some of the Chargers players were complaining that today was hot. They started laughing. You don't know what hot is. But everyone in black and gold loved the idea of getting in better climate. They took full advantage. So Tyrann Mathieu put it in perspective when he said linemen in Saints camp are losing 10 to 12 pounds of practice because of the heat, humidity, and everything else. And here, it's just better conditions just to get – for this point of camp, it's really good conditions, and the Saints took full advantage.
Now, you talked about how it impacted the practice, but how did it impact the practice? Like, how did the offense look? How did the defense look? Could you expand on that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I feel like this was a really good battle between 2 playoff teams that have playoff aspirations and maybe more. No one dominated. There was a good back and forth. And Saints offense versus Chargers defense was on one side. Saints defense versus Chargers offense on the other side. I stayed and watched the offense today. I might flip that tomorrow. So with the detail that I watched today, which was Saints offense, first team and second team, versus Chargers defense, first team and second team, it was a really good back and forth. When they were doing just sort of the regular drives, it was kind of a 50-50 thing. Sometimes the Chargers got the best of them. Sometimes the Saints got the best of them. But I think overall, the one-on-ones, I thought the Saints shined, in particular Chris Olave beating Asante Samuel, the 7-on-7s. The Saints really shined in that regard. The red zone, though, the Chargers had got the best of the Saints. The Saints really had to work hard. And even the touchdowns that they got, it was almost like it was part of the period to move the ball up and kind of give them a better opportunity in a certain spot. So Alvin Kamara scored. Kawan Baker, who I'll talk about a little bit later, scored as well. So I think overall it was really, really good work. The Chargers picked off Derek Carr. It was kind of an overthrown ball to Juwan Johnson. They had a lot of pressure. I counted 3 sacks. So that's a really good front the Saints played and are practicing up against. A lot of people want to know about Trevor Penning. I thought a lot like what he's been in camp. You know, he's got some work to do, but he has shown improvement. So I thought it was a very active, very productive, and very good on-field work, because I don't think you want to dominate right now. You don't want to peak too soon. And it can give you really false hope about what the team may or may not be. This team has, to me, you're seeing the natural progression of a team that goes from training camp to preseason and into what I call elevated preseason, which is now a preseason game plus joint practices, where Derek Carr even said you get more looks of what you'll see a team do in the regular season now than you will in a preseason game. So I thought it was really good work for that first day, and no foolishness, no fighting or anything like that. So all in all, it just had a good feel that these are two really good football teams, and just getting some good work in.
Hey, just curious, how impressive is Justin Herbert in person?
Yeah, he's got a big arm. He's huge.
No, he's your
I was
guy,
on the other side.
so.
Yeah, I was on the other side. It was funny. I was on the other side watching the Saints most of the day, but I would look over periodically just to see how he was doing. He's got a cannon for an arm. He's got that fan base on lock. I mean, they had fans staying well after practice in and trying to get an autograph from him. So Justin Herbert, he's the highest paid quarterback in the NFL for a reason, and it's only a matter of time before he's back in it or gets into an AFC Championship or a Super Bowl.
All right, so we talked about practice. Now you mentioned Kawan Baker a little bit earlier. Did anybody help themselves in this first day of practice?
Yes, you just mentioned his name, and I gave it away a little bit earlier, but this is the most I've ever mentioned Kawan Baker in the Saints uniform since he's been drafted. I think this is his third year, or maybe his second year. I can't really recall, but he hasn't really done much, and that's with multiple opportunities, with the third team. But today he got second team reps. He caught like 3 or 4 passes from Jameis Winston, caught one from Derek Carr. Out routes, comeback routes. So we're really working the middle of the field today in the shorter area of the field. So Kawan Baker, I don't know if there's a spot for him in this roster. I don't know where he's at from a practice squad standpoint, but today was probably his best day as a Saint, period, because I can't recall calling his name much in any practice over the years, and for sure not this much on this stage against a really good team in the Chargers.
So, I mean, the Saints seem to have a lot of things to think about at the wide receiver position, with A.T. Perry making some moves, and last week
a couple nice catches today as well. A.T.
Ooh, okay. So, I mean, and now Kawan Baker obviously doing stuff in this first joint practice. On defense, did anybody make a name for themselves today that you maybe haven't thought about before?
Well, like I said, I wasn't really able to watch the defense today because I was on the offensive side, because it's two different fields, and you got to key on one because we were shooting it. But from what I understand, we talked to Cam and Tyron after. They handled red zone well. The 2-minute, they handled it well. The Chargers missed a field goal. By the way, when the Saints did their 2-minute, both Derek Carr and Jameis Winston led the team down 2 field goal attempts. Missed one, made one by Blake Ruby. But they were playing with these skinny posts. I don't know if it was something to get the kicker just to get more accurate, but it was clearly not a regulation goalpost.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they had that on the other side as well, but they had some pass rush. I know that Malcolm Roach in particular had a good day, from what I understand, with the defense facing the Chargers offense. So again, a complete team day and a good opportunity mid-August here to really get a true sense of where you are, because the first game was one step. I think this is the next step in that evolution.
Now, I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get to touch base again on the pod before before Sunday, the next preseason game. Any last thoughts heading into this weekend?
Yeah, I don't know if all the starters are going to play again. I do want to see Trevor Penning get some more reps. I'd be shocked if he didn't. I want to see another good day of practice on Friday. And I keep reiterating this, and I'm not sure that any result on Sunday, short of a catastrophic injury, which no one wants, knock on wood, there's a confidence building in this team right now that I think last preseason game and this first joint practice has sort of validated it. So I think, like I said before, the natural evolution that happens during any team building process, I think the Saints feel really good about where they're at, and we'll just see how far that takes them.
All right, Sean, excellent stuff as always. Go enjoy that weather in the last few hours of light you got, my man. But for all you guys watching at home, thank you so much for tuning in to the Fox 8 Overtime podcast. Remember to like, subscribe, rate, and review. You can find us wherever you listen to and watch your podcast. For Sean Fazan, I'm Vasilios. We'll catch you guys next time.